when someone comes across Zoho, what should they think of? Or when we leave the room, what do people talk about Zoho? That's something that we wake up and think of as a challenge. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I want to read content about CRM. As a company, we are known to be quite lean in our marketing spends. We like to keep it that way. And there's a kind of a global average that we stick with.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Conundrums Season 2, brought to you by Economic Times Brand Equity. In this series, we continue to dive deep into the nuances of B2B marketing, and today my guest on the show is Mr. Praval Singh. He's the head of marketing at Zoho. What it takes to be the head of marketing of an enterprise solution that has more than 55 products. We'll know it through the lenses of Singh. Welcome to the show, Praval. Entrepreneur turned marketer, you have mentioned in your blog, I've read, the marketing is difficult because everybody has an opinion about marketing. What keeps you marketing, Praval? And I won't take humans of Zoho as an answer.
Growing up, technology was something that fascinated me, led me into doing getting an engineering degree. So being close to technology was something that I was always passionate about. And the other thing I was passionate about was telling stories.
Yeah.
And I think the intersection of both these together makes you want to be a tech marketer, right? Where you're dealing with technology every day in some form or the other. And essentially you along with your team are telling stories. Okay. So that's, I think, how I look at why I'm where I am today.
Where you define yourself as a tech marketer, your brand of storytelling. I mean, the Zoho billboards as well as the front page ads are still fresh in my mind. What made you take that B2C approach, or rather the branding approach? Because tech marketers are normally focused around ROI and performance.
For the longest time, we focused only on performance.
Yeah.
We still do. We still look at performance because we serve so many markets, so many geographies, etc. But what happened in the last 25 years of being into businesses, we've been able to craft a narrative for us, which we truly hold very close to us. And we realized about 5-7 years ago that we should be telling these stories a lot more. There's a way that we've built the business in a market or an environment where I would say this is not the typical way of building business. Yeah. Everything from staying bootstrapped to looking at talent differently to going to market differently. Or even something like spending a lot less in marketing than most of our competition does. These were unique traits to the company, to us, very close to us. The only thing is we started talking about it a lot more. And that's what I think you're referring to.
Correct. And when you say you talked about it, there is another thing that you talk about is customer empathy in modern marketing and the importance of it. Can you explain a little bit? Can you decode it a little bit? What do you actually mean by it, especially in the B2B or in the enterprise ecosystem?
In B2B, it's slightly harder because a lot of what we do, or rather we think of B2B marketing, appears to be very transactional in nature. So empathy ends up taking a backseat. For us though at Zoho, we've thought about it differently because we didn't get to enterprise software from day zero. Yeah. We've built our way into it, built the product ecosystem, the platform, the technology, our go-to-market approaches. In that journey, we understood one thing, that businesses today, the large enterprises especially, are not trying to engage with you to pick up a product. We have over 55 different applications. Correct. Most enterprises we deal with, they're not coming to us wanting to buy a product. Okay. So the way we engage with them is we understand their problems, we offer a solution, and that solution could be a Zoho product. It could be a mix of Zoho products, unified, integrated together. Correct. It could also be a Zoho product interoperating with their existing technology stack, which could be on-prem, on-cloud, a mix of both. So it's a classic problem and solution approach, and I think from what we have seen in the recent years of working with some of the largest brands in the country and outside, customers tend to appreciate that approach because you're putting in time and effort in understanding their problem rather than forcing a solution straight up. Fantastic. So that's how I think we look at enterprise empathy, empathy and enterprise engagement from a Zoho standpoint.
Brilliant. You mentioned 55 plus products. Now, talk to us about the challenge of being a marketer who is marketing and who is actually, taking care or the custodian of these 55 different brands that you must be managing. And do you think it is important to maintain a consistent messaging throughout, or do you feel consistency is at times overrated because the products might be different? Why do they need to talk the same language?
We offer product for pretty much every business need. From someone in a sales function to a marketing to a HR and accounting, we have something for everyone.
Yeah.
What's beautiful about this is how they all work together, A, and B, how they interoperate with other tools in the market. So we have a strong marketplace as well, where our products compete and interoperate with competition. Having a cohesive story to tell is very, very important, and consistency, like you said, is crucial. The first part of your question about 55 different applications, we are a very large company with 15, 17,000 plus employees today. And how marketing works at Zoho is every product has at least one product marketer.
Yeah.
Larger products have a team of product marketers, and they go deep into the market. They understand the product, they understand the customers, and they understand the competition in the market. What is relevant, what do you launch, how do you integrate with something else, what do you prioritize. All that is a play between the product marketer and the product manager. That's at every product level.
Correct.
Now you scale it up to the brand level is where me, along with my wonderful team, I should say, we take care of tying those narratives, everything from our website communication to our messaging with media, getting into new markets, etc. Even events for that matter, right? All of this is something that we tie together, that when someone comes across Zoho, what should they think of? Or when we leave the room, what do people talk about Zoho? That's something that we wake up and think of as a challenge.
Correct.
And then everything, all the brand narratives, backed by our product and platform story, all that ties in together in that way.
So when so many things are tying up to you, how do you ensure that the product markets, the products that you have are actually getting enough of your attention, enough of the budget that they demand? You must be leaving some people offended at the end of the day because you only have 24 hours and you can get this much time and this much money.
Well, I'm sure I leave a lot of people offended, but what I would say is, thankfully, all of these 55 product marketing roles don't roll up into me.
Yeah.
It's humanly impossible to have depth in all these markets, for one person. So what we do is, individual product marketers are the DRIs or responsible individuals for those markets and products. They may roll up into someone senior in the company, could be a senior marketer, could be the senior PM, but essentially they are driving their piece. From a budget standpoint as well, as a company, we are known to be quite lean in our marketing spends. We like to keep it that way. And there's a kind of a global average that we stick with. Certain products that are younger, newer, or are in a market where there's a lot of propensity for growth, we may go slightly beyond that budget. More mature products stick with that budget, but we play in that. That's pretty much how it works.
B2B buyers, or rather enterprises, are seldom actually looking for a product. They sometimes they're getting through it, they're dealing with a problem, they try researching for solutions, and you appear there. That's where content marketing comes in. I want to understand from you, how do you strategize your content marketing? What are the challenges that you face? And this entire discourse around generative AI being the genie for all content marketing problems, is it actually happening?
Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I want to read content about CRM.
Yeah.
Nobody does that, right? But what makes people read content that our CRM product marketing team is creating today, as an example, is how is that content relevant? What format does it play in? Is it a 15-minute short video that they can consume while they're commuting?
Yeah.
Or is it a series of posts on a social channel that they find interesting? Is it some funny, interesting tidbit that the team is sharing that people really follow that for, right? So a lot of it is about the format of the content, what's the insight or the fun element or something educational that people can go back with. It's content marketing is almost never about a feature, how it works, what do you do to sort of activate it, all of that. For that, there is user education, and that team is separate. But content marketing sits very close to the product and the market and the customer. And second part of the question on
Generative
AI.
AI
So
being the genie.
Yeah, Gen AI is something like most other marketing folks I speak with in the industry and otherwise, we're dabbling with it. I don't think they're taking our jobs yet. But what we're using that in an augmentation mode of, how can something be written better, or how can you pull out some insights which you could have. Let's say you're searching something on a search engine, but you replace that with GenAI to get something which is more concrete across multiple sources, etc. So we're still dabbling with it, but at this point, I won't say GenAI has replaced any of what we're doing. It's one of our colleagues who's sort of putting out the content that you read today. Yeah.
While you say it doesn't take any job away, when you earlier had to hire somebody who writes better, you hired journalists, now you are using generative AI, so it is putting some jobs at risk for sure. I would like to know your take on lead nurturing. I mean, all the B2B marketers we speak to, they say leads in B2B is quite, the gestation period is quite long. You might have acquired a lead today, you might have converted them the next year. So do you have your favorite lead nurturing techniques, and what are they?
Now, from a nurturing perspective, we all know the journeys are different. For a small startup, it's a DIY mode where, they want to sign up for the product, get the free trial, run it for a few days, have some questions that they want to clarify. And the decision maker is also often the end user, right? So he or she makes a decision, rolls it out, we're up there without a lot of human interaction. So what we call is a classic low touch sales model, right? On demand, content is available, webinars are available, you can easily sign up. You don't have to talk to us to become a Zoho customer, right? On the other side of the spectrum, when you're dealing with a large company, they need to know that, are we even able to solve their problem? Again, the same thing that we spoke about earlier, right? It would need engagement. It would need understanding the requirement, coming up with a POC of sorts, maybe a pilot, right? Before the buying decision is made. So journeys are different, right? And the way you look at leads are also different. An enterprise lead, for example, needs a lot of human intervention, maybe in-person meetings as well. Proof of concepts, some references as well of, have we solved a similar problem in the similar industry elsewhere? Things like that also come into play. Whereas when you look at a self-serve market, like a typical SMB market, a lot of it is organic. When people sign up, of course, you feed them with good relevant resources, help them adopt the product and use it more and more. So their journeys of nurturing are different, but essentially, it's based on the personas of these users. And journeys vary based on the product. They also vary based on the size of the company, right? That's how I look at it.
Looking ahead, what are the emerging trends in B2B marketing that you identify will actually be game changers when it comes to conversations as well as conversions?
GenAI is definitely one of those things that we're keeping a tab on. For GenAI to have context of your business, it's not easy. Keeping privacy in mind. Because data privacy is is an important piece. It gets a lot of attention now, but as a company, we've been very focused on privacy from the very beginning. We stayed private. That was choice. We continue to decide on the path of not sharing customer data with anybody. So we don't run third-party trackers on our website. Something I really doubt any other SaaS vendor does today globally. So not sharing third-party data, not running third-party cookies, and keeping that trust of the customer that your data is private and secure. We're not sharing it. We don't want to monetize that data. All of that put together, I think, creates a very important stance that we have taken of being on the right end of the spectrum. The right end of the spectrum, where customer data is very sacred. And when you bring in GenAI into the mix, it's hard to keep that promise, because what we believe is it's not the generative AI that will solve business problems on its own. You need business insights into that as well. We're working on some language models as well, which are going to be specialized into some of these business problems. We're not building one of the world's largest GenAI engine, but we're looking at this problem for a pure business perspective, keeping privacy of our customers intact. And I think that's what is exciting for us. So we look at the next several years of how GenAI and business insights together will create contextual intelligence, which will actually make meaningful decisions and then help with insights for businesses to be more productive, more efficient, all of that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Praval, for your time. It was fantastic having this conversation with you. There was Praval Singh. He is the VP Marketing at Zoho, and we unplugged a lot of B2B marketing today in this episode. Stay tuned. We'll see you again.